Today we're discussing the 280 British. Hi, my name's Ben, this is Benny, this is episode 23, let's get into it. Around the end of World War II, Britain began developing an intermediate cartridge to fill the role for not only the rifle and machine gun, but for the submachine gun as well. The plan was to adopt a standard cartridge for the newly formed NATO alliance. Throughout the conflict, there were few common arms between the United States and Great Britain. Had arms between these nations been standardised, it would have eliminated a lot of confusion, complication and cost. This cartridge would have to offer rifle-like performance at distances out to 400 yards, while maintaining low enough recoil for controllable fully automatic fire. Assistance was provided by the Belgian company Fabrique Nationale and the Canadian Army. British small arms designers proposed that the ideal cartridge would be 6.8 to 7mm in diameter, weigh 130 to 140 grains, have a muzzle velocity of approximately 2,400 feet per second. The 280 British was developed and approved for testing by mid-1947. At this stage, the original 280 cartridge had a rim diameter slightly larger than the 7.62x39 and fired an 130 grain projectile at 2,200 feet per second. The British attempted to adapt the cartridge to American requirements. The rim diameter was increased to 12mm, matching the 30-06, and the cartridge was redesignated as the 280/30. The projectile was also changed to a heavier 139 grain with a mild steel core, retaining the original velocity of 2,200 feet per second. The new ammunition was tested with various types of rifles and machine guns, such as the Enfield EM2, FN FAL, M1 Garand, and the Taden. I really like the Taden because it's a belt-fed version of the Bren gun. Performance tests were promising, leading Britain to submit the EM2 with the 280/30 for NATO trials in 1950. However, when tested at Aberdeen Proving Grounds in the USA, the 280/30 performed poorly compared to the American 7.62mm T65 round. Its accuracy was disappointing, with an extreme spread double that of the T65. The armor-piercing version failed to penetrate a US M12 protective vest at 800 meters, a feat the T65 ball round could achieve reliably. Performance on hard armour was also half that of the T65, and the low muzzle velocity resulted in a rainbow trajectory, making hits at longer distances less reliable. American officers deemed the 280/30 unsuitable and insisted on adopting their .30 caliber round. The British attempted to improve the cartridge by seating a flat-based projectile shallower in the case to allow room for more propellant. These changes increased the velocity to almost 2,600 feet per second. However, by then the T65 had also been improved, maintaining its performance advantage over the 280. In 1954, NATO adopted the T65 as a 7.62x51 NATO. Production of the No. 9 Mark I EM2 was cancelled, and Britain adopted a modified version of the FN FAL. There is the lingering question that had NATO adopted the 280 British, would there have been a need for the development of the 5.56 NATO in the late 1950s? And my answer to this question is yes. It wasn't intermediate enough to be a true intermediate cartridge. It lacked the recoil and weight benefits of the 5.56, and it wasn't big enough to be accepted as a full-service rifle cartridge either. In essence, the 280 British was a compromise that failed to satisfy either role effectively. The 280 British was an innovative concept, but its ballistic shortcomings and political resistance from the US prevented its adoption. Had it been refined further, with higher velocity and better armor-piercing performance, it might have been more competitive. I would love to hear your perspective. Do you think a better designed 280 could have succeeded? Or was the 7.62 5.56 path inevitable? And if you're interested in a bit more, join the email list.